Obviously, it's Sunday if you are looking at the date. And so I'm going to go backwards. So after church, we went to our friend's house and had lunch, played Mario Kart, watched some videos, generally had a wonderful time, and it was fantastic, and I loved it. And I'm excited that we can say that we go over to people's houses after church now. Because that was like, okay, that was a thing that we did a few times growing up. Like, there were a few friends from church who would invite us over if they lived in town. But because we live so far out, unless it was our whole family being invited, it really didn't happen because otherwise we had to have another vehicle or we had to arrange some way to get picked up. And when you live 40 minutes from those people, like, the less convenient you are, the less likely you are to be invited, which is the opposite of Midwestern nice. And that's still a thing that hurts a little bit from my childhood, so, whatever. What's past is past. So let's rewind a little bit more. During church, the so the sermon was on Pentecost because it is Pentecost. Not that I had really been aware of that, besides the fact that I was running media, so I had already gotten the email from Pastor Aaron about what passage was being talked about. That was how I knew it was Pentecost. I know, like, just didn't grow up in that part of the liturgy and litany of certain denominations, and so it's never on my radar. But along the lines of Pentecost and the idea of the people speaking in tongues and how quickly the early church was able to spread because of the willingness to be a united body. All of that was tied back into Renew and how there are a lot of people with different views, like very, very different views on a lot of topics. But when someone says something that someone else disagrees with, it is rare that the person disagreeing will leave our church. And that is a big deal. I realize that doesn't happen everywhere. I was actually talking to Pastor Aaron about it after church because I think in the church that I grew up in, that probably would not have been a thing for most people attending if it was the topics that are covered at our church. It wouldn't happen. And I'm so thankful for how diverse we are in our thoughts and personalities, as Aaron was wording it. I think there is beauty in being able to look past the differences. That doesn't mean that there aren't some problematic ideas that need to be addressed within that congregation, because every congregation is going to have that. But I think when you're starting with a basis of love and unity and trust for each other, it's so much easier to work your way into a more consistently welcoming environment of people who are different. And you can fill in the blanks on those topics because I'm sure you can guess, and you'd probably be correct. It's a beautiful thing that it can happen, and I'm really thankful for where I am. And I have no intention of going anywhere anytime soon. So life is good. Specifically thanks to my church. I've probably mentioned this before, but I never thought I would be one of those people who would claim life is good based on the church I was attending. There was no way I ever would have thought that that was going to be me. I'm so grateful that it is me, though. And I don't think it would be if it were a different type of church. That's where we're at.